Hi there, thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about spin-offs and spin-offs in the corporate finance sense, not quite in the TV show sense. And what a spin-off is by definition is just when a parent company creates a new company by selling or distributing shares of some of its existing business divisions. The idea is that hopefully this new company that's created can be worth more as an independent business because now it has its own management that can focus on its own projects without worrying about what the parent company is doing. And in theory, the parent company may also just better focus on its core operations rather than being distracted by this part of the business they're selling, which often does not match up with exactly what this company is doing. So in general, spin-offs are at least sold as something that can increase value for shareholders both of the new company and of the parent company. However, a parent company can also spin off a business that is much less productive and maybe it's being a drag on the total bottom line of the business. So it's important to look into it a little bit and see why exactly this spin-off is happening, because there's always a reason. And what does a spin-off look like for current shareholders of the parent company? Well, let's say I own company A, which is worth $100, and they want to spin off company AB, which is going to be distributed as a dividend of $10. So on the day the spinoff happens, A would usually give me, the shareholder of A $10 share worth of AB for every share of A I have, and then the shares of A would usually go down by $10 roughly. So then A would be worth $90 and AB would be worth $10. So you'd still end up theoretically with the same amount of money. However, to entice this deal, sometimes a few companies could offer maybe a discount of some sort. For example, you can exchange a $100 share of A for a $105 share of AB. And this is interesting and all, but do you actually want to keep the share of AB in the first place? Well, this is a good time to talk about the downsides of spin-offs. One of them is that the spun-off companies can often be more volatile than the parent company. When you're creating a new company, you have a new set of financials. You can basically extrapolate them from the previous financials of the parent company. However, sometimes it's not going to be very clear cut. So there's a little bit more unclear history in terms of numbers to which financial analysts can refer to. There's also going to be less coverage by financial analysts. So if you're someone who cares about that or cares about analyst predictions, well, they're not going to be available for you in as much quantity as the parent company. And the most important thing is usually these will have short-term sell-offs. So for example, Merck, the pharmaceutical company, spun off its division called Organon, which focuses on feminine health products in 2021. And Organon just hasn't really gone anywhere since the spin-off. In fact, I think if you held Organon since it was spun off, you would have faced a loss against the general market in these last almost 2 years since it's been spun off. Same goes with, for example, Warner Brothers Discovery, which was partially spun off and partially merged off of AT&T. And since it was spun off almost a year ago, it went through a pretty serious sell-off. Part of the reason why these sell-offs happen is simply investors who are just kind of unloading these shares of the spin-off whenever the spin-off happens. So in the short term, you can expect sell-offs and volatility more often than not. However, if you're a long-term investor, usually spin-offs are considered value creating rather than value destroying. So if you're willing to stomach some short-term volatility and you're also willing to look into the financials of the new company, well, this could represent an opportunity in and of itself. Likewise, if you've seen a recently spun off company that has maybe had a fall because of these short-term sell-offs, well, it could be worth looking into. Not all of these recently spun off companies are going to be the golden egg, but there may be some interesting opportunities here. Organon, for example, has been trading at a P of below 10 since its spinoff, basically. I also saw a really interesting article in The Economist recently that was talking about how Alphabet, Google's parent company, should spin off YouTube into its own company. We all know that Alphabet is huge at this point, and spinning it off has some benefits that are both financial and regulatory. The article argues that spinning off YouTube could show current shareholders of Alphabet that Google is committed to its core business, that is search, advertising, and AI now. And it talks about how YouTube is such a different business that maybe Alphabet cannot give it the focus that it deserves. So maybe its own management team as its own company could truly take the maximum potential out of the YouTube platform. And there's also the antitrust aspect of it, which basically argues that maybe YouTube hasn't grown as much as it can because maybe regulators would look at this and consider that Alphabet is getting too big and getting its hands into too many things in the world of the internet, and that would spell trouble for the company. So this would look good in terms of antitrust and also look good in terms of financials. Will this happen? I have no idea. I just found it a very interesting article that shows maybe why spin-offs are generally a healthy thing if done for the right reasons. I'm gonna end the video here, but if there's anything you want to know about spin-offs, feel free to comment down below. And while you're here, if you're interested in investing, I can highly recommend that you use Webull as your broker. Webull is a broker that I personally use because it's commission-free, it has a great interface, it's quite fast, and I've enjoyed my experience with it so far. And if you sign up with the link down in the description, you will get free stock as part of a promotion for new users. That's risk-free return essentially, so I think that's a pretty good deal. So with that said, I thank you so much for watching and I hope you have a great rest of your day.